And then, is the candidate likely to attain a position of influence in his or her field of expertise? Of course that matters to Marshall. This is a public diplomacy scholarship. I have to be able to go to the British government. No, you can't cut us because we have a Supreme Court Justice and 10 members of the Obama administration, and we run the State Department pretty much. And this person is running this orchestra, and this person is running Dance Scotland, and this person is doing this, and this person has just won a Nobel Prize. It's really important that we're able to say to the government, in whatever we're doing, look, Marshalls matter, and we're very lucky. We have 50 years of alumni, so we can sit there and say, look, okay, we haven't had a president, but we've had a presidential candidate, and as many of you have heard me say before, Supreme Court Justice is for life. Strength of purpose. Has the applicant demonstrated courage of conviction, persistence and determination in pursuit of their goals? Do the candidate's extracurricular activities indicate commitment? Pretty straightforward. Creativity. Is there evidence of creativity and innovation in the candidate's approach to answering questions or solving problems? That's kind of important, and not something we necessarily think about as a leadership potential, but the best leaders are the people that can think outside the box, who have come up against a problem and thought about different ways of the way that they could solve it. And self-awareness. Do they want to contribute to society? Do they know what their role in particular activities and impact on other people? How do they come across? How do they lead? What is their leadership style? Do they know that? And how has the candidate explained what's changed as a result of his or her involvement in something? You know, did they get involved in something and come up with new ideas? This is what we're going to be looking at. This is what we get out of our application. So this is stuff that's going to be in the application. We're asking the questions, and then if they get to interview stage, you know, this is where we're going to be asking the bits that I'm talking around. Ambassadorial potential. Now, what is that? Knowledge of US-UK relations. I am continually shocked about some of the answers we get to why do I want to come to the UK question. These students need to do their research. There is no excuse not to have done it now. You know, maybe 15 years ago it was really hard to find out what was going on in the world. I just downloaded a newspaper, the Guardian app, this morning on my iPhone. I can now read my British newspaper that I read every day on my iPhone. It cost me £5 for the year. There are all kinds of ways of knowing what's going on in the world. If News Corp is going on during the interviews, there's a strong possibility that News Corp is going to come up in the interviews, just because the Consul General, and the Consul General sits on the interview committee in most regions, will be wanting to find out whether you've actually been following what's going on. My guess is Kate and William will not come up in the questions, because it seems to me that you're more obsessed about it than we are. I got quite confused after a while when people kept emailing me saying, "Are you looking forward to the wedding?" And I was like, "What wedding?" "Oh, the royal wedding." So yes, and also specific to their subject. If they're doing the environment and they don't know the issues around the environment and what are the difference between the Kyoto, what's going on in the UK as well as the US, you know, they're going to get hit with a question about this. You know, it's guaranteed that there will be something in their subject. You know, what is it? It could be in the arts, in music. It could be what are the differences between the arts funding? Good. It could be anything, so please don't write these down and go, this is what I'm going to do. But again, when they're writing about their US, why UK question, they need to be thinking about, you know, not just, I want to go and see all the beautiful stately homes and, you know, it's very exciting to be in the West End or whatever else it might be. And are they already thinking about how they're going to create relationships? And that's not just in their academic departments, but in all kinds of other things. They started an NGO in the US. Have they already been talking to people in the UK that they could actually start working with to do something with the thing that they're passionate about outside their academics? Extracurricular activities. What can you do that you could use in the, what could you do that you're doing in the US that you could do in the UK? I find it quite strange sometimes, the number of scholars who have done all this amazing work in the US and then come to the UK and go, to sit down and not feed the homeless anymore, or whatever else it might be. I also get quite irritated with scholars who come and tell me how my country should be running it. But, you know, there's something happy medium in between. But there are lots of opportunities, from sports to learning a new sport to joining a band, doing whatever you want to do. And a lot of our scholars do take part in that. But, you know, it's in their application, have they indicated that there are? What are their extracurriculars? How could they do, you know, what could they do? Please, please, please avoid the, I'm interested in immigration, so, and I can't believe that Britain does it this way, so when I get to the UK, I'm going to lobby to make sure that they do it the way we do it, because we think this is much better. I'm not kidding. I've seen that answer. They have to remember that there are a lot of Brits looking at these questions and these applications, and so being nasty about Britain is probably not the way to go. Interpersonal skills. Do they have a track record of proactively and enthusiastically building productive relationships with people outside his or her peer group, engaging them? Do they go out and talk to high schools? What do they do outside of the university? You know, are they outreach? What do they do? And also a real understanding of the needs of others. So not me, 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 me. But, you know, actually, I encountered this person and I found that actually what I said they didn't agree with, and then we had to sit down and work out how we were going to take this forward, because we had two different ideas on this. Finally, self-confidence, ability to seize opportunities. What are their opportunities? How have they taken them forward? What are the things that they've had difficulties in life? You know, if we have a scholar currently in the UK whose parents were both drug addicts. At the age of 3, she was escaping out of the trailer park to feed herself. She was considered to be special needs until she met a teacher at the age of 8 who taught her to read. You know, and now she's in the UK, she's been to Cardiff, she's been to York, and she's going to come back and teach kids who are in the same situation as she was. You know, that's a great story. Everybody doesn't have to have a hardship story, but it's about opportunities, and what did you make of those opportunities, and the things that worked against you, how did you overcome them? So these are our new criteria. I hope that you'll find them useful, and I will answer questions on them, but I'm just going to go through the rest of the Marshall spiel. The Commission is very excited about this. We've worked very long and hard in consultation with our chairs and with Jane as well, on developing these criteria, and they will, as I said, be on the website as of Tuesday. So, this is our route map through the scholarships. 1-year scholarships can't be renewed. 1 year is 1 year. You can't do a 9-month course on a 1-year scholarship. You have to do at least 10 months, so that means that most of the MSTs at Oxford and many of the MPhils at Cambridge are not eligible for the 1-year scholarship. You can do them on the 2. 2-year scholarships, 2 1 years, 1 2-year, 1 year plus the beginning of a PhD, all kinds of combinations. And you can extend those to a 3rd year. 2-year scholarships with 3rd year's extension. If you start a PhD in your 1st year, you can apply for 3rd year funding. We can't guarantee that you'll get it, but we will try and find other sources of funding, except if you apply for one of our partnership institutions. And I'm talking outside the Oxbridge College partnerships. But all these lovely people that are here today from the British universities, that funding is guaranteed for 3 years. So if you want to do a PhD, your student wants to do a PhD and they want guaranteed 3 years, then, you know, a partnership institution is the way to go. So we never fund 4th years except in the slightly different case of EPA, which I'm not going to go into here because I've already told people about that. And you can ask me if you didn't get that presentation. And Jose, who's going to wave his hand there from EPA, is here. So if you missed the EPA thing, do speak to him because he's got some wonderful opportunities for your students. 1-year scholarships, up to 8. Yes, I know we only selected 1 this year. We are hitting our committees about this. We do believe in the 1 year. It is a pilot, but we do believe in it. Your students should have a good reason why 1 year, not 2 year, and they should be able to. And if they're going to graduate school, they should at least have got applications in by the time they apply for Marshall. They must have a deferred place by the time they take up their Marshall, if they're planning, because otherwise what will happen is if they're planning to go to medical school and they haven't got a place, they're going to spend 3 months in the spring flying back to the States, interviewing for medical school. Well, frankly, that's not acceptable on a one-year scholarship for Marshall. The idea is that in the UK, sometimes I have a problem about grasping this, but you know. The 1 years we had 4 1 years in the current class, and they are fantastic. They have taken up every opportunity. Some of them wish they'd now done the 2 year, but then the break. So, but yes, but we are serious about our 1 years, and I don't want anybody to go away thinking, oh well, it's just an afterthought. We are serious, but they are for students who wouldn't do the 2 year. So. Changes on the application. We've changed the employment questions, so it's no longer postgraduate employment, it's now employment. It scares me how many of our scholars don't have anything to put in that. They should all at least have tried to work at some point in their lives. And the second one is we've changed the personal interest one so that it reads about leadership roles, but it's also personal interest, non-academic activities. I couldn't even tell you what the original one said, but this is slightly different, so if you are really confused, and actually, you know, it's in the email that I sent you about registration for the online, how it changed, but off the top of my head, I don't recall. Partnerships, yay! These are really important to us. You probably heard me now, I've been 3 days, I've been like, yay, partnerships, yay, British universities, woo! And I really mean it. I think the universities that are our partners are absolutely fantastic. I think it's wonderful we also have partnerships with Oxford and Cambridge colleges. It's an amazing endorsement of Marshall that these universities, whose funding is being hit left, right and centre, are still willing to believe in the Marshall brand and to waive tuition fees so that your students can go to their universities. We have 2 new ones come on board this year, the University of Kent, who are really very strong in many places, international relations and many other subjects, and the Life Science College, School of Life Sciences at the University of Dundee, and believe me, that is exciting. If I were a biomedical person, having read all of their stuff, it's just unbelievable, and they're really cutting edge. And I know you've probably not even really heard of the University of Dundee, but it is one of the leading schools in life sciences, so that's a very exciting, and again, they approached us. We didn't go to them, so this is a really exciting thing. And I'm going to say this, and I say it many times, these are not in addition to the total number of scholarships. There are 30 or to 33 scholarships. Every single one of the scholarships we select will be part of those 30 to 33 scholarships. They're an additional one. It isn't a way of getting an extra scholarship. We don't offer scholarships. Unlike Fulbright, we don't offer, if we don't select anybody for whichever university, then we don't send anybody there. There isn't a special pot for the partnerships. However, as I already said, the more partners we select, the more scholarships we have. And our regions are very aware of that. So, you know, please make your students look at these amazing places, because there is life outside, sorry Jim, outside of Oxford and Cambridge. And there are just some amazing things going on. The number of times when I'm advising students and I look at a master's program and go, I want to do that, that would be really exciting. You know, Liverpool does science fiction writing, who knew? We have a scholar doing that this year. So we have the NIH, which is a split-site PhD, fantastic opportunity, any UK university in the biomedical sciences. And we have the EPA. This is an amazing opportunity. You can do a PhD in the UK, you can do a PhD in the US after you've finished your Marshall. We have a federal grant for this. Again, the EPA believe in us strongly enough to actually allow us to do this. And it's a really exciting opportunity. Then the postdocs. We get about 15 applications. Anybody know any postdocs in the science and engineering that want to study in the UK, to do research in the UK? Get them to apply. Georgia Tech's dominating at the moment. They're the winning one. They've had 5. So they're doing very well. And these are the regional contacts, and that's the end of my presentation. It's gone black. So I'll go back again. Let's see if I can get back. There we go. We'll go back to the pretty picture.